Hello, everyone. This is Antonio Maldonado, and today I'm speaking over a group that deals with a lot of protests and demonstrations that have been actually going around lately a lot. But this specific group is known as the Westboro Baptist Church Group. Um, with that being said, how would you feel if your father, brother, or loved one has spent months or years fighting for our country and gave up their life and had people protest at their funeral? Not so likely. The Westboro Baptist Church claims to be preaching to a doomed country through the protests and pickets around the country. Due to the United States being a country that strongly lives by freedom of speech through the First Amendment, that becomes relevant to the audience and that they can be a voice against the voices screaming hateful things on the streets of our nation. Through some acquired knowledge and extensive research, I have not only come to understand much of the Westboro Baptist Church itself, but possible solutions to put a stop to their hateful ways and desires. The Westboro Baptist Church, or better known as the WBC, is well known around the nation for their protests of what they believe to be a nation-destroying filth. But their education in the matter and taking action, America can make a difference and limit the horrific demonstrations put by the church. For starters, I'm going to begin by informing you of the current problem that lays at hand. The Westboro Baptist Church is a church in Topeka, Kansas, that takes the First Amendment rights to a whole new level, stretching its rights to the acts of hate around the nation. The supported Primitive Baptist Church protests as a way to gain publicity, picketing cities and events all over America. The WBC has conducted 58,514 demonstrations, around 400 of them being that of military funerals of troops, and which have pickets that say God has killed in Iraq and Afghanistan in righteous judgment against an evil nation, and has visited around 880 cities and spent thousands of weeks holding pickets on the mean streets of doomed America, as they proceed to say. Not so long ago, the WBC picketed around the Austin area over the weekend of November 16th through the 18th of 2012 at a Formula One race, saying these Bible-ignorant fools worship these race car drivers like they were little gods. In Waco, Texas, at the K-State versus Baylor football game, believing that the Kansas fans could spout more statistics and facts about the team that they could even begin to tell about the Bible, while Baylor is no more Baptist and no more Christian than their bear mascots. In Abilene, Texas, several churches they claimed to be dog kennels and whorehouses. Under the First Amendment, the WBC was protected in the Snyder versus Phillips Supreme Court case. After picketing on March 10, 2006 at a funeral of Matthew A. Snyder, who was killed in a non-combat vehicle accident in Iraq, Albert Snyder sued Fred Phillips, WBC, and two of Phelps' daughters. But in an 8-1 favor, the Supreme Court concluded that the Westboro statements were entitled to First Amendment protection because those statements were on matters of public concern, were not probably false, and were expressed solely through hyperbolic rhetoric. Now that you have learned of the current problem, I'm going to discuss some potential solutions. The Westboro Baptist Church has been protected by the Supreme Court. However, there are still actions that can be taken to prevent future outbreaks by this semantic hate group. One simple yet effective solution to shut down the demonstration of WBC is to spread the word of their hateful acts and behaviors and advocate against this church. In late January 2010, a group of San Francisco showed up in front of the Twitter San Francisco's office as a way to go against WBC and outnumber their pickets, carrying numerous as well as blaring Lady Gaga. This caused people to ignore the WBC signs and unfocus and take their evening pickets because they were all hated from the big day and had no more hate to spare. If the word of their actions spread more and people become more aware of whom they are and what they do, advocating against them would be more manageable and would be in turn drop the amount of demonstrations they put out, all the hatred that's given out, which is not needed at the moment. Another attempt to stop the WBC is working through local governments and putting restrictions on the church as a way to limit what they do and what they can do and how they do it. A current possible solution drafted by the Center of Olympia Snow is known as the Sanctity of Eternal Rest for Veterans Act, also known as SERV, which would create a buffer for military funerals without violating the First Amendment, because it would mandate 2 hours of quiet time before and after funerals, instead of 300-foot buffer zone around the funerals and a 500 feet around routes to and from the memorials. This would in turn limit WC's presence and potentially restrict from all the areas. Having Congress pass new bills can restrict WBC on such hateful demonstrations and allow families to mourn losses in a peaceful manner in hearing things such as "God hates fags." It will limit much of what the church is allowed to do and how they can go without going against the First Amendment. Finally, after stating a couple of solutions and some information about the church and the specific hate group, I will inform the problem as well as possible solutions. I will conclude on the Westboro Baptist Church. The Westboro Baptist Church's main goal is to impose their beliefs on what they believe to be doomed country through protests and pickets. The Westboro Baptist Church is a group that engages in sidewalk demonstrations opposing the homosexual lifestyle of soul-damning nation-destroying filth. However, through advocating against them and through new legislation, we can make a difference in bringing the WBC down. After spending their time risking their lives fighting for our country and fighting for the freedom of speech that so many Americans take for granted, including the Westboro Baptist Church, would you be able to sit through a loved one's funeral, listening to the sound and the hate chanting and screaming all around you? Thank you.